Hi everyone, your favorite War Thunder tutorials are back. We have made dozens of videos dedicated to arcade and realistic mode. We have covered simulator battles as well. But we've recently realized that we have never compared these three modes in a single video. Let's fix that. Throughout the next few minutes, you will see all the differences between arcade, realistic, and simulator battles, both on the ground and in the sky. Okay, first up is arcade. Here, all aircraft fly via a simplified, more merciful flight model. Whatever you do, you will never suffer a flutter, never fall into a spin. You can even do stuff like this and get away with it. Hell, you can even do something like this. Be warned, however, a pilot can still lose consciousness through extreme maneuvers. You also won't have to bother about ammo. Boldly fire away until you run dry, because once the ammo is out, a crew of imaginary fairy mechanics will reload your cannons, MGs, rockets, and bombs. In midair. Yeah. To simplify firing, arcade has a lead marker. It shows you where to shoot to hit your target. Therefore, most targets in arcade don't stay intact for too long. But you get to respawn with as many machines as you had assigned in your hangar. Now, add backup machines to that number, and you might respawn 20 or even more times in a single match. Tank battles are also anything but complicated in arcade. You get 3 respawns per battle, so if you get shot early in combat, no problem. Just get another tank and get back there. The tank physics model is also very merciful in here. Ground vehicles accelerate faster and have a better cross-country ability than they had in reality. The turret also rotates much faster, though the damage model is the same. Many critical hits are not as critical. For example, even if your cannon breach is destroyed, you can still fire. You might get a misfire because of this, but fire you will, sooner or later. Enemies in arcade are highlighted with markers. You won't have to look hard through bushes to find and identify the type of target you're up against. The marker will do it for you. There's also a special crosshair that shows you where the shot will go at any given time. The color of this crosshair indicates your chances of penetrating enemy armor. Green means a guaranteed penetration. Yellow means about 50% chance of a ricochet, while red means that the shot will not penetrate. Sometimes this crosshair can be quite deceiving. 1 second it was green, but once you fire, you fail to penetrate. Why so? Well, you see, even in arcade, your shots have a certain minor spread, and an inexperienced crew is bound to make errors in their aim. Sometimes you will be aiming at the right spot, but hitting some other. Yet another calling card in arcade are the so-called air events. Kill 3 enemies on the ground and you can make a quick sortie in a bomber. When the timer on your bomber runs out, you will be put back in your tank if it hasn't been destroyed yet. Statistically, arcade holds about 70% of all players. Arcade is fast, dynamic, and comfortable. But there's more for those who like tough, realistic battles. The main idea behind realistic battles is to fully simulate the physics of machines in the game. Ground vehicles will act closely to how they acted in reality, which is now part of the history books. You, as a tank commander, will have to seek the enemy out with your own 2 eyes. All enemy markers and hints are gone from this one. That's why the camouflage in RB will serve a tactical purpose, as opposed to, at the moment, strictly decorative function of camo in arcade. The number of respawns depends on the player's performance in combat. The more active you are in battle, the more you capture points and kill enemies, the more respawn points you will earn. Using these points, you can enter the battle once more with a ground vehicle or an aircraft. Kill 1 or 2 enemy tanks, get shot yourself, and then enter the same battle as a ground powder to avenge your untimely demise. Now, for those enjoying large-scale air combat, there's a separate option called Air Simulator Battles. This is an aircraft-exclusive mode, therefore there will be no AAA from SPAAGs here. The outcome of any battle will depend only on skills of the pilots fighting it. Oh, by the way, do you remember that crazy move we tried to pull off in arcade just a while back? This is what would happen to an aircraft if you tried the same stuff in realistic battles. Realistic physics and damage model is here in full force. Your plane will quite literally fall apart from 2 extreme force overloads, which is very good for self-discipline, by the way. Your machine's ammo reserve can only be replenished back on the airfield, so you will have to conserve it and learn your lead targeting very well. Finally, there's one more option available to the players: simulator battles. The physics here are identical to realistic, but the player himself is moved to a fixed position inside his machine. You are no longer a disembodied spectator following your machine from distance. For this one, you will have to assume the role of your crew. On the ground, you will assume the role of a tank commander. No markers available here. Even your allies aren't marked. The pilot will be in cockpit of his aircraft, one-on-one with his machine. The pilot will not only have to get used to looking at the world from inside the cockpit, but he will have to monitor his plane's behavior from inside. The now familiar and friendly instructor that once helped you with controls somehow did not fit inside the cockpit this time. Basically, that's it. There's an opinion that arcade is for the noobs, only pros play realistic, while only aces of the aces play simulator. This is not exactly so, according to our data at least. The skill of players in arcade varies greatly. There are actually quite a few pros in arcade. Don't be surprised to meet people with less than stellar skill playing RB or SP either. Don't bother with who plays what, really. You should be asking yourself this instead. Would you like to play a game or two, or sit down and play some serious hardcore war? There is plenty of room for everyone in the game. Have fun playing what you like. Thank you for watching. War Thunder Tutorial signing out.